And let's go to the other big story. Joining us live from London is Lalit Modi, the suspended chairman of the IPL and now fighting a battle with the BCCI. Mr. Lalit Modi, good evening. This is Mahrukh and Shivani is also here. My first question to you is, you're being called a king without a kingdom, Mr. Modi.
Well, it depends who's calling me a king and which kingdom they're referring to. Currently, I'm the president of the Rajasthan Cricket Association. I have legally won it. I've gone through a democratic process. The BCCI tried very hard to stop that process to the Supreme Court, and they were not successful. The results were open, and as they are being childish as they have been in the past, we have seen they want to resort to unconstitutional ways to try and discredit an organization. But we will fight it, and I'm not one of those sit back and let them voters run over us. We will run the cricket in Rajasthan, come what may, and we will be there to show them how to run.
It's been a long-drawn legal battle, Lalit, you would have to accept, and your joy over finally the RCA election results being announced was short-lived, even you will have to admit, because 2 hours later the BCCI banned the RCA, and that is why it's very difficult to see just where your win will take you from here now.
So first and foremost, a person in the BCCI just banning me has first of all no right under the Constitution to do so. He needs to call a special general body meeting. He needs to give us a show cause for that. And they went to the court and they lost as far as that's concerned. So for him to just say that he's going to ban me is of no value. Let him try and ban me first. If he can't ban an organization, as far as the organization is concerned, it's the Rajasthan Cricket Association, which is a principal partner with the BCCI and as a constitutional partner of the BCCI as one of the cricket association state bodies. So a person, individual taking that decision to disaffiliate or to suspend a member is of zero consequence and has no value. It just shows that how perturbed they are of me coming in there and having a voice and talking on the board. And that's what they are afraid about. And I'm not going to keep quiet. Now I was screaming from the outside, now I can scream from the inside, and I will do so, and I'll make my voice heard.
But Mr. Modi, are you going to continue running the RCA now from London, or are you planning to return? Because the big question is about whether Lalit Modi is going to come back to the country.
I will be back in the country soon as I feel that I am safe and I will have adequate security. Elections are on. Let's wait for the election results to finish. It's not months and years away, by the way. It's a few weeks away. So why don't we wait and watch how things play out as far as that's concerned? I was worried about my family and my security till now. Now with the past government, and there was a witch hunt on, and let's hope that there is a new government out there in the next few weeks.
Lalit, before I take that question forward of just what this victory really means, you're talking about having a voice, an official voice within the BCCI, but clearly the BCCI does not want that and has gone to the extent of suspending the body pending further inquiry.
So they must have a lot to hide. They must have a lot to hide for me. They're not wanting me to come back out.
But what about Lalit, we'll come to that, but what about the charges against you yourself? The 8 to 9 charges that BCCI has against you and the charges by the Enforcement Directorate.
There are no charges by the Enforcement Directorate to date, by the way. I have not received a single show cause by the Enforcement Directorate that you keep referring to and talking about. Why don't you ask the Enforcement Directorate to come on air and tell you if they have a single charge against me? I have won the case in Bombay High Court, if you're not aware of, and I'm very clearly that there are no charges against me personally by the Enforcement Directorate. The charges that the Enforcement Directorate lay were on the BCCI and not me personally. And that has been set aside also by the Bombay High Court. Secondly, there are no other charges against me as far as any of the statutory bodies are concerned. Yes, there was a so-called disciplinary committee headed by so-called shady people who so-called made up their own report, and they made a mockery of it and didn't even allow me to appear before themselves and gave out a report to ban me. Now, we are fighting that in court. That matters under due process, and as and when that is settled, we will deal with that. So as far as you know very well about committee meetings and about appointments of a special commission, and we've gone through that process, and Justice Mudgil has been appointed now by the Supreme Court when the BCCI had never been able to have a fair committee of any sort for anything in the past. So when you talk about a committee report that has banned me, I feel insulted to be banned by a committee that is basically a biased committee. And I am going to take this all the way forward, and I am fighting the case going forward.
Yes, you will take this matter legally further, but Lalit, don't you anticipate another long-drawn legal battle? Are you really going to be able to do anything in the meantime while you fight the suspension?
Listen, Shwani, I am doing what I have to do. I have been going out and doing it. I have shown in the past what I can do in terms of cricketing. I created a world-class cricketing atmosphere when I was in Jaipur. I created a world-class cricketing tournament. I gave BCCI majority of their revenues. My work has shown for itself. Let my predecessors or my colleagues have even an iota of that to count for themselves. Mr. Srinivasan, what has he contributed to the board except for controversy and fixing? He tries to fix everything. You want to fix my election too? He tried to fix the South African election. He wants to fix everybody's election. Well, the time has come, and somebody has to say, the buck stops here. I take onus of what I do. You take onus of what you do. And as far as I'm saying, I take my onus, and I'm ready to fight him all the way going forward.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter which way it is. And we will fight. And what is the problem? I will take the cricket going forward. I've been appointed legally, and I will go forward and run Rajasthan Cricket Association.
No, but
if there's a problem with our association, then let him deal with it.
But Lalit Modi, one of the things that you're trying to suggest is that the players of Rajasthan are also going to suffer. But isn't it your individual fight versus the BCCI that is actually troubling the players in the state?
That is what the BCCI is doing. That shows you that they have no concern for the game of cricket. It's not me. It's the BCCI. They're only concerned about the individual. It's not about the state. If the BCCI is so concerned about the
But they're saying they're going to have an ad hoc commission that's going to look at the players from the state. They're saying they're going to have an ad hoc commission.
An ad hoc commission doesn't. On what basis? The law doesn't provide that in our state to have an ad hoc commission. We have a state constitution. We have a state act. And if they think that they can overrule and decide to take anybody who doesn't like they like and put an ad hoc commission in that, that's not how you run a democratic process. You run a democratic process by allowing other people to do what they have to do. So if the BCCI think they can have an ad hoc body to run my cricket association, they're sadly mistaken. Let them try and step into the field. I'm very much on the field out there. Whether I'm sitting in London or I'm sitting in Jaipur or anywhere, I would like the BCCI to see how they will run an ad hoc body in the state of Rajasthan.
Lalit Modi becoming the president of the RCA. Lalit, under the circumstances, the only question that is emerging again and again, that is it going to be consequential at all, or is this going to remain inconsequential as far as your return to Indian cricket administration is concerned?
My returning to Indian cricket administration, the writing is clearly on the wall. The wall, I have won a democratically elected election. You don't want to talk about a democratically elected election. You want to be a mouthpiece of Mr. Srinivasan, you're most welcome and be that. I don't care. Or anybody else. I am only concerned about the fact I am democratically elected. If I am democratically elected, I will run the cricket in my state to the best of my abilities. And I've shown it in the past and I will show it in the future.
Okay, right. This is not about being a mouthpiece for anybody. It's just how the legal battle and the legal tangle is at the moment right now.
The point being that if the other party is foolish enough to do foolish things, doesn't mean I have to be foolish enough to fall into their trap.
Okay, Mr. Lalit Modi, thanks so much for speaking to Newsnight and Headlines today. Shivani, thanks so much for also joining me here in the studio. Lalit Modi there from London speaking with us.